love us and go out to the hall and take it. People just this is where we failed. To the flag of the United States. This meeting of the mayor. Here.
Mr. Kim Rose.
Here.
Mr. Jimmy White.
Here.
Mr. Morris Builders.
Here.
Mr. Gary Williams. Ms. Sandra Wood here.
We got everybody here. We got a forum. We got a nice sized crowd here tonight. If you're in the audience tonight and if you do come to the podium, I ask number 4. Board meeting in October. .3 is a call meeting.
There, changing the on page 6. Term shall be filled by Alderman Jack Johnson, seconded by Fred Ellis. I think that should be added. I made a motion.
And the Jack second by yes. I made note of not met since that we were probably involved. Would have a report to me. Beginning maybe in the future, there was lot of things that we couldn't prevent. But I can't say enough about our employees, because there's a lot of them that didn't get to have Christmas. There were a lot of them at City Hall. I guess we better be glad we didn't. I think the people, but I factories can't open. It seems like whatever.
Boys, there were a lot of other cities, from other departments that chipped in there.
That chipped in. And that's one good thing, to echo what Jack said. It was all hands on deck, and the other departments said, what can we do to help? And when I said that, I bragged on all of them, because we have good people. That's how much line. And we don't have a lot. We need to appreciate it. Do a meal and do some things for them coming up. Our ratepayers. We've got a great. Next item, number 6, a report from hearing none. Number 7 is consent agenda. We don't have a consent agenda tonight, so we'll go into unfinished business. 8.1 is
something's got to be done about it. There is too many things that doesn't add up.
I'd like to make a motion that we meet in executive session with our city attorney before we discuss this any further.
you got a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Let me
Yes.
explain. Able to deliberate with each. ask questions as a group.
Do we need to do that?
Y'all have a motion, we'll do that. Talking to our attorney in there, I don't think that council and the board is I believe the board is gonna take
where the legal issue is. But 61, it, I don't know, you know.
We've been advised.
You want a copy of it for another month?
Okay.
No, it's,
Oh, I see.
to continue with this.
I understand.
It's come a time to get it solved.
Alderman Willis, and a second was just made by Vice Mayor Wood that it be tabled so we get more on legal footing on it. Is there any discussion? Call roll, please.
Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Woodridge?
Yes.
Six, we keep you posted. All right, we're going to the podium. 9.1, discuss TAGC Corporation policy.
Okay, I think all of you have got a copy of what we're preparing homes. And corporation, which is a 501 get together. We had to have a nonprofit in order to build. Take that money and build new units. You only can take now are nice units, so we're in the need. So that's why we created the nonprofit. So the county gave us $50,000. They gave Taxi Corporation a donation of $50,000. Operating money, we're needing money for our closing engineering. It pays the city a pilot. $3,000 a year that we pay. From the Lexington House nonprofit, so we can have some options. So
The motion, we donate this money to this project.
Looking at doing right now, starting off,
we're looking at the land and county proposal, we're looking at hopefully 20. If we could do 20, I'd be excited.
you could probably feel them just like that.
Oh, definitely. I could do it right now.
Is this in a county or city?
City. City.
Any discussion? Know what the motion is. Call roll, please. Occasions,
Yes.
and kids, and
Yeah.
shows, and
With us, and also talking about the employees, your employees. But he had his guys down there doing.
district site development grant, Kelly, you want to do that?
Oh.
We opened bids last week for one of the site development grants we received. We opened bids, and low bid came in at Ward Contracting.
It's so much lower. I mean, yeah,
Yes.
if they
Three projects that were bid. Economic Board. Most of and bid it, hoping that they would get all.
Motion to approve. Motion by Alderman Williams, do I have a second?
second,
Second. Virginia. Any discussion? Call roll, please.
Mr. Woodridge,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Wood. Yes. Mr. Ellis.
yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Rhodes.
Yes.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Okay. I'll ask Casey Cotton to come to the front. Casey, you're gonna be up there for. So let's start with,
and one commercial truck. Recycle. Not just supposed to. That I'm asking for is the 3-year
I also got one from Samson
Samsung.
Equipment, but, after talking to, Cotton, the body style and things like that, the new way body, he doesn't recommend that we go with them. And then they're in Middle Tennessee. If we have a problem now, we can just run it to Memphis, or they can come up here, River City again.
So the total cost of this is $216,961.
Warranty is,
Yeah, I didn't look at the second page, I'm sorry.
and it's 120 days. Nothing. Our 17 model rear dump after holidays or something. And I know there was question, the bed and all wasn't in count, it was rusted out, all the pieces. We don't have the money in the budget for this.
No, that's correct. We'd have to increase revenue or ask the general fund to supplement, solid waste fund additionally. And Casey's asking for a lease option. You know how much payments are? Yes, you're, page 41.
It's behind.
Replaced it and got another one, didn't we?
More year to go in our lease. February, and if we don't get turn the truck in and not being able to get a truck.
I'm trying to remember, we have one, it's a tandem truck, right? That's
Yes,
it.
it's the residential one on truck. That's the one we're in the 2-year lease with,
But that's,
or buyback.
we ain't had it very long, have
A year.
we? 1 year, right? We did a 2-year lease, right?
Yes,
But we also have another single axle that does the.
that is a 1 arm too that we had 18 years.
But it does, it has been going around there in the,
Recycle.
recycle. But we have
No,
So y'all took one, had the rear thing.
we had 3.
One rear load, one single axle, and one tandem axle.
Mhm.
Is that right? So what we're now is asking for one more extra rear load, right? Give us total 4 garbage trucks.
Yes, sir.
I'll just add, to me, this is a good example of what we talked last year about things that are going to depreciate. We're not going to replace them every 5 to 7 years. So to buy this with one-time money and not have a revenue stream to replace in 5 to 7 years again, to me, makes no sense. So, I mean, this is something we need, and I'm all for it, but
seal on this rear dump truck
for the last month or so, everybody's garbage and pickup's been a day or two late. I've had a few questions about that, and to me, this is a
And if you have a
service.
catastrophe, like, and you can't, and I've even called to try to, rent something or, and there ain't nothing.
This is a good example of having the resources to do the job with, and, to me, running on bare bones when there's no room for error.
The board to do.
We'll put it in the 3-year buyback program where it's under warranty for 3 years and you get the buyback.
So you have to buy the dump truck.
Yeah.
A one-arm truck and renew the lease with a new vehicle.
And that's what our plan. It's a
New body,
17
no.
model.
So we're not replacing, we're just buying another one, right?
Yes, the truck we have now, the 17 model rear dump, would just fall in as our backup. The Packer panel, everything but tires and fuel and oil.
Improve it, move.
What's in there is that and I need to get on the list for us to be able to get a truck.
What is it now?
I don't have those numbers for that truck. But it's in the box.
Let's make a decision that we want to purchase or we want, first thing we got to figure out, we're going to purchase, I'm going to renew and do another lease. I'll make a motion that we get on the list to replace it and do the new lease on the one we're gonna need,
The residential one on.
the one on there.
Second.
Any discussion?
How we gonna pay for what how we pay
No,
for it.
it's already in there, that's already budgeted, all we're gonna do.
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yeah.
Mr. Wilbur?
I don't have that right off the top of my head.
He knows.
He'll find it. to get to where solid waste can make it on its own. We're having.
3,900.
3,900.
Does that include,
Buck a month.
does that include,
Just a little shy, but
All right, I'm gonna make another motion. I'm gonna make a motion. If he wants to pursue. That's gonna be, we gotta pass to raise the garbage rate to $1.25 to be able to purchase this truck.
second,
Any discussion?
How much is the rate right now? 14.50.
Release the right not to.
$15.
1,550.
So
That should put us on equal footing to pay for what we're buying.
well, it's either, you know, I agree with the mayor, we've got to do something. We
But I
can't
don't,
take, I still
We're
say,
120 days out, right?
Mhm, 4 months. See,
by the
first
time
of May.
budget time be here, then
drugs get here. I mean, that's about it. Is that right? Everybody clear? Yes. Just want to start one again. When we get to budget time, we'll have to keep this. Casey, requested.
People almost getting run over, you know, running or walking.
Asphalt right now.
No, we,
We're on the eastern shore of the
Harbor Drive, Eastern Shore.
one idea is to the Chamber of Commerce.
But, I mean, that's just what I come up
The
with.
intention was aggravated, all get out. I cross 5 every day going to college. What's gonna happen is we're gonna get these things all. I mean, it's okay. You know. So we listen to.
And plus we gotta take into consideration, we got like this expensive fire truck that's go across them things. And I tell you, 6 broke bones, which I have, I can't imagine hitting in speed bumps. And, it's almost like people get jealous because another street's got a speed bump.
I know the speed bumps on. That's one car over in Beasley subdivision. Keep those humps the same lane. I'd have come to a complete stop just to get across those things. It's aggravating.
I agree. The, speed cushions, for a different kind of road, you put it either a speed cushion or a different, or a speed hump. And I got a bunch of measurements and things like that. That's why the speed cushions on Old Huntington are made the way that they're made. It's because that's that type of street. That's what it costs.
I went over Old Huntington Road the other day just because I hadn't been out that way. And I went over those speed cushions, is that what you call it, those two separate? I did too.
Compared to
I know they did.
The average daily volume on 338 cars a day, just going one direction on Eastern Shore Drive. The average speed of the roadway there is 33 miles an hour. Of course, the supposed speed limit is 30. So it's not really necessarily a speeding. Compared.
You know, if you, like what Gordon. Concerns, and then we can go with.
One of them called me the end of last week and wanted to know when the meeting was, so I told him, but obviously he didn't show up. So.
That's the problem, nobody wants to.
All right. Does anybody, we got a long agenda, does anybody want to make a motion to put them in?
All right. In the street department, there is no supervisor or Waste has a foreman in the park. I still have to delegate the work out in the street department, things like that. I need somebody to kind of lean on, somebody to hold responsible, somebody for the other employees. Currently an operator, but he could still be a.
It doesn't. I mean, it's nice of you to tell us you're gonna do it, but.
Not for his pay. I'll just hold the superintendent job and take some. And then also up here under me, I got a public works clerk and holding off the superintendent, keeping that spot open and using that money for the clerk position until budget.
What's the clerk gonna be doing?
I got some. Colors so we can read them.
Okay.
These dark blue colors, I can't, maybe it's just me, but I can't read those. The green with the black lettering, that's fine. And the gray with the black lettering is fine, but they got a lighter blue.
Is there not someone over there now?
Lana is there now. She does work orders, answers the phone, fills in at the transfer station at different times when somebody's off. When Elsie's off, she has to fill in for her, so in turn, that leaves nobody there to answer. Clerk would help me with my daily duties too.
Such as?
Paperwork, work order. At work,
Work now, or is it 100% office based?
I have to do some field work also. Things I have to go look at, jobs I have to go look at, things like that.
So you're removing the operator, and you're gonna free the superintendent. $155,000, and what you're gonna complete is, come up with that, you actually have a shortfall, or you have over $38,000 if you do the thing on the quote, is that right? According to what I've seen in the signature. So actually, you're saving
$38,000 between now and budget.
I make a motion, please.
And that's not replacing
Your position of your
Superintendent will stay open until June. Till
So
budget.
you're gonna add another 2 more people then?
Well, what happens at budget time?
We would open the street department superintendent back up, open that job back
That
up.
would be more.
Then
increase the budget.
you wouldn't really be losing, you're only saving that 38,000 now.
For a few months.
$40,000.
But then if you've already hired people and you want to replace the superintendent, we're going to increase the budget.
For the entire superintendent.
Well, you could cut one operator and do a wash.
Or hire, maybe cut a
Well, you
position
got
out.
seasonal people on there, you could cut that back. So you could,
But you
you
need
could
to
make his budget stay pretty.
Now, the seasonal person, we're cutting out.
Completely.
Yes, and we're gonna use some of that money to compensate for the foreman job.
So what do you use seasonal labor for?
They help out on the street department, in the cemetery, at the parks, things like that.
So you don't need them anymore? You have enough people to cover the entire cemetery as is?
I have an opening right now in the cemetery, that I just posted Friday. We get that filled, that'll be, 3 full-time people at the cemetery.
And that is already approved in the budget?
Yes.
That's what I'm supposed to do. I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
tell the group the motion.
Motion is that he's not gonna have, he's gonna remove the operator, he's gonna hold the street department superintendent open, and that does it. He actually saves $38,000 in the budget until it comes budget time. If he wants to open the superintendent back up, I say we approve this for budget time and we did, that's what I say.
A clerk?
He cut 2 and he just replaced 2, is all he done.
But we're also going to have to, come budget time, we're either going to have to
Add
let people go, or we're going to increase our budget, add more people, which we don't have the funding to do.
Or
this.
choose not to hire an extra person.
So we ready for the vote?
Yep, call the roll, please.
Mr. Ellis?
No.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Rose?
Yes.
Mr. White?
No.
Mr. Wildridge?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
No,
Ms. Wood? Yes.
Pass 4-3. Okay, 9.7, discuss Harris County radio control.
What this is, it's where used to have the electronic, airplanes down the runway. I took some pictures. They got 6 stations, and then they got the building, some things of that nature. Nobody's contacted me. I haven't seen anybody out there in a couple of years. They're not maintaining it. We have to, something needs to be done with it. it hinders the rodeo when it comes, or the tractor pull, things of that nature. My suggestion, to move it all, we're gonna keep it maintained, or keep it put to the side somewhere, and if,
They didn't buy that property, we just let them use
no,
it.
we just let them use
I make a motion that we remove it, or remove it. You showed it to me the other day, we went out there and looked at it.
Yeah,
You
he's
can
got
tell
pic-
the picture just grown up.
He's got pictures of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll second that. Mark.
Any discussion? Call roll, please.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Casey, I appreciate you. I'm picking at you, so.
Already grew up on you first time. So,
9.8, discuss on this one, so there's no question on that. I'd ask for a motion to approve. Have a motion?
Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. Williams? Yes. Mr. Williams? Yes. Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Motion passes. 9.9, discuss and approve first reading of ordinance relative to the electronics computer use policy. Cody, your chief Middleton, that will answer any questions y'all might have on this.
I think that pretty much covers it in book. I'll make a motion, we approve this.
All right, now a second. There be any discussion? Call roll, please.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Rhodes? Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Williams? Yes. Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Motion passes. Chief Middleton, if you would, what you have, I think we've got 3 items on here. We'll start with that. We'll know, discuss, and approve. LFD standard of conduct.
I've submitted to you in your packet 3 different Lexington Fire Department policies for your consideration. Let me give you some historical perspective here. Shortly after being appointed, we started receiving applications for volunteers and for part-time employment at the Lexington Fire Department. And so when doing the research to find out what are the standards, what are the procedures, we ran into that there is nothing that has formally been drafted or considered by the board. In very short order, we haven't found anything where any policies related to the Lexington Fire Department have been brought before the board for approval that any of us can recall. And there's a lot of confusion down at the Lexington Fire Department, but what are the current policies? So obviously this is something that we need to get addressed. What you have before you tonight for consideration, we need to have the entire policy manual of the Lexington Fire Department updated and refreshed with current standards and with current issues that the fire department and fire service will be facing for obvious liability reasons. So it's just started with these 3 pieces of the puzzle, which are standards of conduct, general employment, and promotional policies. There's nothing in employee personnel files that indicate that they've received or gotten policies pertaining to these things. So I'd entertain any questions that you may have regarding what we have submitted to you. If it's the will of the board.
What do you like the best?
Well, all 3 of them are issues that we need to address in policy, both in standards of conduct and employment, because these are
So there are 3 different.
3 separate things. You have promotional
Okay.
procedures,
Okay, I see.
you have employment procedures, and you have standards for volunteers and for full-time employment, part-time employment, and then you have standards of conduct, obviously, that you're going to need. That you should, and who's responsible for doing it.
I'm sorry, if these are passed or when they're passed, you will do, a form or something.
Exactly.
Where everybody will sign it, that
Yes,
they have gotten it, it will go into their file.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And
For
then
each one, code of conduct, everything.
yes.
Where does this written test come from? Is it
So
standard?
we're gonna use the same principle that we use over on the police department side. There are validated testing, written testing companies out there. We use one over on the police department. They send the test to you. They're the one that develops the curriculum. They tell you what's available, and then it's administered by human resources.
Is the test appropriate for town size, or is it a test that somebody from a larger city would take?
It doesn't have anything to do with town size. It has everything to do with, it's just a national standard of test. And what they do is they give you material to study. They on, and then they give the applicant time to study for them.
Who pays for
This
this material?
The department does.
This is basically the same policy as the police department has.
Pretty close.
I make a motion.
Second, any discussion? No,
Mr. Eldridge?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Williams? Yes. Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yeah.
Mr. Rose?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yeah.
motion passes 9.11, or 9.11. Discuss approve bids for fire department driveway at Station 3.
Okay, so I want to give you guys some photographs here so that you can get an idea of what we're talking about here. And then I'll just let you pass around and look and see what we're dealing with. A budget of $70,000 to fix the driveway at Station 3. That location. And if you'll think back, historically, what was there previously, even prior to the construction that's there now, that was pretty much a swampy area. When they built the garage there, which is what it was, they didn't put any gravel underneath that concrete. They put sand. And so that's what you're seeing right now as a result of that. It wasn't, its original purpose of design was not to support an almost 80,000 pound fire truck. The old armory, where those fire trucks are stored now, we had to completely tear up the ramp and pour a new slab. Now is the result of the weight of those fire engines going across that concrete slab. The bid that you were emailed earlier this afternoon, I've been working with PLM to do a change order to just get the area right in front of where the truck is going to be driving back and forth, supported with the type of concrete that's going to support the weight of that vehicle. I'm continuing to do that. We're still doing that, and all I'm going to ask the board tonight is if you will approve the low bid, I will tell you we will not exceed the budget amount to get the work done. Now, I may have to come back to you at a later time. We've looked at procedures. The firefighters that are driving that truck, we've looked at procedures to try to minimize the amount of damage that's being done to that concrete. But Casey and I have talked. He's going to be involved in demolition. He's going to be involved in laying gravel. We're trying to cut costs at every possible location to be able to bring the project in on budget, in budget.
How long are you gonna have to keep the trucks off the new concrete before it really sets up?
I don't know the answer to that yet. I haven't got. And they've learned, as you can see in those photographs, there's areas of that concrete that are on the property we don't need to be driving the fire truck on. And procedurally, we understand that, and we've already implemented that. But right there in front of those bay doors, we're area to be able to repair damage to the concrete.
you don't think we need that wider, I mean, I understand you're trying to save money.
I'm
but
trying to save
but I don't-
money.
More later by not doing.
I've asked them to go in and look at reinforcing just the area and where the fire truck is gonna be driving, and then lessen the amount in the areas where other vehicles would be driving.
Other areas having problems currently or not?
It does, it has some problems,
Not as bad.
but that was because we had been driving the truck on that area previously. Once we realized what was happening, we stopped doing that. But you still got some damage to that concrete.
This is the 96-3.
Yes.
How many yards is concrete?
It's in that package.
Got it in this packet? I didn't say anything.
Well, I don't have
It may not have been. You were.
I don't think we had any bids, so.
It was submitted to me one time, but I just didn't remember off the top of my
I
head.
remember that, but
Concrete was, the labor fee was $9,000, and the concrete was about $50,000. That's 6 inches of reinforced
how thick does it need to be, 8 inches?
It's gonna be every bit of that, yes, and it's gonna be rebar reinforced. and-
I mean, I poured well, you can shop that rebar around, if people got cheaper rebar, but you go down here at Williams Supply. The same stuff, $3 a bar cheaper.
And we're looking at every possible avenue. Like I said, Casey's, he's gonna take care of demo out there. We're gonna bring rock in. He's gonna take care of that for us to try to cut every possible cost.
Well, we're gonna look and see what's under it first, get a good, idea of what we need.
Typically put sand, okay? That's what y'all would do.
Right.
The trouble I was in, if it's floating like it is, you got to put river rock. If you don't put river rock, you got to put drain tile in. If you don't put drain tile in, you end up with the same thing you got down there. But, I mean, 6 inches of concrete, I got machines that weigh 100 and something thousand pounds, that dump 6 inches of concrete, they don't give you a problem, so. I like to know how much rebar, I like to know what the thickness of concrete is, if it's 4,000, if it's 3,000.
I have to go take part of it out because it is bulked up, it was, gouging in the
If
tire.
you're gonna cut it out, I don't think any place over 100 foot long, is it?
The part that they're gonna be backing in, no, it's probably 50 foot, something like that, 50 foot length.
You're gonna tear it all out, right?
Mhm.
Somebody's gonna come in for it and pour it, right?
Mhm.
Are you gonna put the gravel in again for it and pour it?
We're gonna tear it out, dig out whatever we need to dig out, put back, so when they show up, all they'll have to do is form it,
I'm gonna give you a phone number right here, right now.
put the steel in it.
I'm gonna give you a phone number right there. Give me just a second.
Have you, Casey, have you had any experience or seen any of that blue rebar that's on the roll? Did you see that rebar?
I can't,
It was on the roll.
I know they had a bunch of metal in it.
It was blue. And I don't know if it was metal or I don't know what it was.
Again, Chief,
I'll give you the number after meeting, I got it. I'm gonna
so
give you
again,
somebody-
what you're asking the board to, and they've already approved this amount, though, is that not correct?
70. They've
So
approved
you're
70.
asking them to go to the.
Just approve the low bid, and I'll bring it in, and we can talk about details and all that kind of thing. Just let me approve the low bid and let me bring it in within budget. I will not exceed the budget amount.
I'm gonna give you the
That comes back
name
to
of
me.
the guy that Jackson did it.
I'll make All right, I have a motion by Alderman Williams, and I have a second by Alderman Ellis. We've discussed it pretty good, so let's call it.
Mr. Williams?
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Wood? Yes. Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes. Name is Tommy Merriweather. Okay. Number 731-616-9068.
9068.
You call him, he come out here and do your proposal.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. 9.12, chief discuss public entity partner safety grant for fire.
So we have submitted a grant through our insurance company, has a grant program, Public Entity Partners. This grant application was successful. Ambient lighting source out there so that they can train. And I'm just asking the board's permission to accept it. That's part of the grant application and processes. I'm going to have a Yes, that's correct.
That's one public entity.
Will come out of our budget.
Make a motion with approve.
Second. Have a motion, second, is there any discussion? Call roll, please.
Ms. Wood? Yes. Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Willoughby?
Yeah.
Mr. Williams?
Yes. You don't survive your first go around. You gotta speak up both of them. All right, 9.13, discuss approve Lexington LES Lincoln campus. Manager Gray.
First thing is delinquent accounts, 26,356.50, and if you look on that, the last 4 or 5 of those total about a little over $6,000. They were car accidents that posed no chunk of it. The 19 grand is still a little bit high. I look back, historically, I think we had a couple of quarters that were a little bit higher than that, but that's one of the items. Of course, we had some big bills during that quarter.
So much.
Second.
Motion, second, any discussion? Call roll, please.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Willoughby?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Yes.
Next item, 9.14, discuss approve LES vehicle purchase procedure.
Yeah, that's, we're running the same problem everybody is, with vehicles. I remember Roger was talking, I don't remember exactly how that worked, you explained, but, I'm looking for ideas or something from the board on what we can do as far as if we find a vehicle, being able to purchase that vehicle without coming to the board because they're getting away, is what's happening. We still will do our due diligence to get, the cheapest price we can, the best vehicle. But any ideas on any of that?
I think we gave Michael up to a certain amount, didn't we? When we did it.
On vehicles that
We did on the dump truck.
Yeah.
For the wastewater department. We had one, that we brought to the board, we lost it, so at that point I asked the board that this is how much our budget's gonna allow us to spend for a dump truck. If we can find one, that meets the specs, on that line item for that particular, for the vehicle.
You know the specs on what you're proposing?
Yep.
You change the beds out.
We do on some, refurb them, yeah. If our guys say, yeah, this truck can be refurbed, we send it off and refurb it.
Patch up all the holes that been drilled in the bucket.
Yeah, in the right spot. But, I don't know a number, if you're talking about a new bucket truck, you're talking over 3. Have time to bid. I mean, right now we get slots. I forget, we're early 24 or something, we have a slot or two that we can get in and bid trucks. But a decent used bucket or know of somebody getting rid of one, you know, I need to be able to pull that trigger. And I can communicate with the board any way you want to, but just save a call meeting every time you turn around. If there's something that y'all are comfortable with, we'll try that. If not, we'll continue how we are.
I'm for it, I just thinking how we could approve without any detail.
I think, you know what you want. Know about it. It's not gonna be like one.
Right then, and then at the next
Right.
board meeting as well.
Would it be replacing a certain vehicle, I mean, not replacing, but would it, well, sort of, would you be buying something like what you've already got?
Yes, yeah, but we're kind of getting to the point where we're starting to keep older vehicles just because if something goes down, we have
Be
to
added
fire.
to the fleet.
And we have something go down constantly. But we do it the way we continue like we are.
What
How
amount?
much? Jack, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna ask how much, what amount he had in mind. Might be the same question you asked.
You know, I'd say probably $200,000. And that was, I think that's gonna be way upper than, and that's not gonna be a new vehicle, but it might get to one that's 3 to 5 years old that's sitting out there somebody's trying to get rid of.
And we'd have to reapprove, so once you reach the 200,000, we could reapprove if you needed more funds than that before
Sure.
next approval
Sure.
or something like that.
Would that come out of electric system funds or?
I'll make a motion, we put a $200,000 in it for.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Davis.
Yes. I was passing down 1.15 discuss for the LES performance bond.
Yeah, and I passed that out earlier. That's what I got back from Patrick and Irby, on the performance bond. It's what they recommend to do as far as covering the work in progress as the project goes on. And for a real quick project update, we're still in the paperwork. We got the contract signed, the mayor signed it, a couple of weeks ago. Irby is into doing the high level design at this point. They're still saying hopefully construction can start in April, and hopefully somebody can start being hooked up within just a few months of that, June, into June. So if it goes like we hope, by summertime, we should be starting to get some kind of revenue. It's gonna be slow at first. We got a lot of hurdles to cross and a lot of questions to answer.
I think this broadband is gonna go over big time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I see people every day complaining about whatever it's hard to say.
I think it was our $50 million number that we have shot. I think it's gonna be quite a bit more than that.
Yeah, that's no surprise.
Well, I mean, we had a 36% take rate, 1 out of 3 houses. I think it's gonna be more than that. And with that, we're gonna have to have equipment to put in those houses. So that equipment's gonna money that, is not in our $50 million number. But it'll all work out once we get some revenue coming in. That's the main thing. Because we started out like getting a bond for the whole amount. Well, if you have a $50 million so they're just saying cover what's in progress, and as it comes out,
Hasn't even made up yet, we don't know what they are, but once it gets tested, we get the grant money. If it, passes. Bouncing around down the road.
2 million at a time.
This says, I'm reading this correctly, Irby has not any work performed by the contractor selected during this construction period. The requirement, the bond, the security, internet investment related payments, instruction, so they're not gonna be responsible for the contractor, is that what it's saying?
Correct.
So
But
if
if
you get a
you,
bond, and that'll mean with somebody, they don't do it, so who's holding them on?
well, the contract, if you keep reading there, the contractor will have to put up a bond.
So,
That's why
so
Irby's
why didn't
saying,
Irby do it for bond?
well, for the part of the proposal that they're responsible for. And getting the grant money. I mean, they're gonna be the primary people,
But they are putting up a bond to do this?
Irby.
Yeah.
Yeah, the contractors will individually have bonds, that'll be in the bid for the contract.
If we get halfway through this,
In the bag. I mean, or
bond, all the bonds.
but it won't have to cover what's not done.
Pay what we got going on, and that's a problem too. 25%, something like that. This has got to be 100%.
And you gotta do it in 36 months. Well, less than that.
Right.
now.
Is there any guarantee in their written letter that they're gonna do it less than 36 months?
I don't,
I'm just asking if it's a bond, they're gonna state they're gonna do it.
yeah, let me revisit the contract. I sent y'all a copy of the contract.
It said, they didn't guarantee it, but they said they could complete it
Well,
in
24
24 months or less.
Yeah, I know.
They were talking 18.
No, you're looking for something on paper.
I'm looking
Yeah.
for something on paper. I read everything you did. My question is performance bond, they also don't guarantee that they complete in time necessary so we get our money turned in, so we get our grant money. And that's the one reason I'm asking that. If they're gonna do this, so there's gonna be something in writing and send that. I've seen what they've sent, and I know this is a bunch of, excuse my phrase here, legal mumbo jumbo. But the bottom line is they only will cover so much, and they don't be liable for a whole lot either. So that's what we are, but we're liable for the whole kit and caboodle. I don't like being liable for the whole kit and caboodle. Everybody else tiptoes around it. For completion, get done, it's all. That's what I thought. I don't know this gonna get done.
This can't be, the bond can't be purchased until we know the rules of the game from the state.
Right.
So, yeah, that's gonna be weeks.
Okay,
So if we can hash on
okay. That's good.
the project, because, they've already given out money to do it, but they haven't made the route
I know.
available. So you don't know what you're playing with.
I just hope we have get off on this year.
Sounds like federal
Hey, I
government.
appreciate everything you're doing. I'm nervous. You know, but I'm
Me too.
nervous. And this is probably bigger than anything we've ever done. I want it to go very, very well, and everybody be happy. That's all I'm saying.
And I think we can have confidence in Irby. I mean, they've done it. We know they've done
Look, I've done business with them for years. I know it's a good company.
it. Mm-hmm.
The law and stuff, okay? I understand all that, but you still need to be.
Is there any way we can have a performance bond that they have to pay by a certain? Kind of like the Jones did on the interstate out there.
Yeah, road.
Okay, I will make a motion, or you want to do that?
I think you just told us you don't have all the answers.
So you don't need to vote on this tonight, Jeff?
No, because we don't know. If you want to, or we can.
I think I hear the board. What you're doing, you know, on mine though, y'all, Jeff's job is the electric system, and that's what he gets paid to do. His job. And you'll say he's getting paid, and he is, but I appreciate what Jeff's doing too, because he has spent a lot of hours and a lot of time on this, and not got paid for doing it. And he wants it to be right, just like we do, and I trust him. And Jeff, I just want to tell you, I appreciate what all you've done, because it's going to be a game changer for people that LES services. And, but I appreciate what you're doing too.
Thank you.
Well, echo what you said, I truly appreciate, and I truly appreciate what you're doing and where we're at, and in good faith, but when you're dealing with contractors.
Oh, I agree with you.
Okay, when you're dealing with contractors, you gotta have a lot of faith. You put this kind of money out on the road, not get it done, and I'm sorry, I don't have that much faith.
But I think.
Oh,
we
hey.
could-
But it's not just.
In every contract that you read or write, on the last page, is always that out clause.
For the other
For the
person.
person,
Yeah.
not for you, but for them. So remember, you're reading these things, look at the last page, that's where it's at. They ain't gonna put nowhere but the last page, they ain't gonna be 5 words. I can almost tell you what it is, 'cause I got hooked up in it 2 or 3 times, I've been in court over it. And I know what to look for now in a contract. If it's in there, I ain't doing it. That's just the way it is. I still got it in my desk, I look at it every time I try to do something, I pull that song out and look at it.
Still makes you mad.
It costs me a little. Now, while you're telling me what that Latin means, and after that, I know what it means. Okay? It's in Latin, it's not in regular English. Trust me, it's there.
We're always told that we have a fiduciary responsibility to do just what the Lord was saying and doing. So I think Jeff appreciates y'all too. All right, Jeff, let's go to 9.16, discuss approve LES purchasing policy.
Yeah, I basically just took the city's purchasing policy that we've kind of been going by and tailored it to LES because there's some differences. It's pretty much just cut and dry, just to have a policy for LES, basically. We get asked that a lot about FEMA and grants with the state now, with the purchasing policy. We follow the city. Then you go read the city's policy and it doesn't really G-Haul with LES to it. So I just took the city policy and changed a few things and made it line up to LES. There's nothing that you're gonna see as a board that we operate any different. We're still gonna get bids, and we're supposed to get bids, it's gonna come to the board, blah, blah, blah. No big.
You can still vote on it, approve it.
Yeah, it's possible. And once the board votes on it, I have to send it to TVA and get their blessing. Provided they bless it, will be good.
It's similar to what we do as a state, pretty much. A lot of it is, yeah, I'll make a motion to approve. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yeah.
Mr. Wilkie?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Williams? Yes. Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
He stepped out. Motion passes. All right, 9.17, discuss LES contract labor rates.
This stems back from November in our meeting, and what I did, I took contractor rates from the contractor that we sign a firm each year in case we need them for FEMA events or whatever, and FEMA would cover. And I took their rate. Difference if we were to have a crew, a contract crew in there working, which several utilities do. I know Gibson's got 2 or 3. I think Southwest has 1 or 2, and Jackson keeps service crew or contract crews as well. But my point being, you know, if we keep losing employees and can't retain them, this is our only option. Just normal hours working, we look at the $502,000 difference in what LES employees could do. Some of the graphs that I put in here are charts that stand out. Miles per line, miles of line per employee. LES is second in miles of line per employee in the West Tennessee area, minus Jackson and Memphis. Here, which is 4 per employee is chart for West Tennessee, and also we lead the chart on customers per employee. So at 469 customers per employee of LES. So that also says, and I wrote in that letter both good and bad. It shows that we're being efficient with our employees, that they have that big a number. And it also means that at certain times they could be getting overworked because they do have a big number of employees big number of customers per employee. And that's just some kind of an FYI where we're going to end up if we can't retain employees, which that goes right back to pay. And, you know,
Can I address this? Welcome to the club. You're running into what every industry, and especially healthcare, is getting into. Is primary competition is travel companies. No private company or municipality can keep up with travel jobs pay. It's just because of issues like the exact same problem. Now, you know, one of the to leave, it's a gamble. It's a I want to make more money. You know, most people have a job, can move to a different town or different whatever and make more. And then you're constantly chasing more money for, and you as an employer are constantly losing your employees. And giving more money, in my opinion, it's just going to basically help the people who are going to stay regardless. Those guys that are going to leave and chase the money, you'll never be able to afford them because they're always going to be looking for the next best thing. You know, one of the things is maybe potentially hire more people, maybe even more than you need. That will allow for some attrition. And I've been thinking really hard about this. as a, in my opinion, as a city, as a municipality, and it would be for me hard to say, the fire department are losing people. The one positive that you have is that, and I know that I'm probably the only person who feels this. If it would be better and if JEA or Southwest or whatever is paying these high rates, if you become part of them, then you automatically roll in to those rates. And maybe they have more resources that they can offer in order to keep personnel, because in my mind, it's just hard to, even though you can afford it, give you everything you need, which most departments would like, and then you gotta listen to the fire department, the police department, like, well, why can't we have more? We have the same. Everybody is important. Not saying one is more important than the other, but there's a problem. I agree 100%, and I don't know how to fix it. And I'm just giving my opinion and my ideas. And what do you think?
I think what our employees are looking for is to be treated on average. And they're not looking at contractor pay per se. They're looking at other utilities, the JAs, the Southwest. Few of them are gonna leave and go travel, period. But they may go to Carroll County, they may go to Benton County, they may go to the Southwest. So our people will be happy.
How many people have you lost two other elected in the last 5 years?
5 years. Well, let's go back to when I started being manager in Kings. I'm gonna say we've lost, 5, 6. And the latest one we lost, went to Southwest.
Or did one guy go to,
We had
a
one,
private?
one leave and go travel.
Well, I can understand what he's saying, because my stepdaughter is a travel surgical nurse. She's in Oregon right now, and she makes a lot of money by doing that.
Can I say something? Are you through, Jay?
Yeah.
Now, we've gone back and forth with this for 10 years, a lot. I've studied this a lot. The line crew foreman and lineman, journeyman, you've got 6 of one and 9 of another. Their rates are a lot less than what the average of the other systems are. Though, I'm not saying all employees, I'm not concerned with LES, all of them, but those are a major problem. There's a big difference in their pay right there. And if they retire, you've got people that are left, but you hire other people as an apprentice, right? They start as an apprentice and then they move up to a journeyman. Is that how that works? Well, once that apprentice gets trained, he may or may not stay, so you're back to square one again. Is that right? So you've already got the people that have retired, and you've got the people who are still there, but the apprentices, they've gone somewhere else. So you're still short-handed. If we had a storm, a huge major storm, that could create a huge problem. Right?
It will.
It will. I'm saying that because where I work, In one county, I have had 5 vacancies at the same position for 6 months. Finally got them filled because they bumped the pay up, not enough, but bumped them up enough to maybe hold on to them for a little while. Because we were training these girls and then we're training them. And they were just using us as a stepping stone and then moving on. So I understand, and I know it's for all employees, not just LES.
If, some,
Crew line foreman and the journeyman.
well,
That's the ones I see the biggest, well, your pay is. There's a big difference in that as well.
let me ask this. I'm not against any of this, but you know, sometimes you need to look at what they, not their hourly rate, but what they make on the W-2 form at the end of the year. Am I right or wrong? It's not gonna be their hourly rate, right?
Correct.
Good Lord's gonna take care of a lot of that money for them, like you just did. A lot of overtime, this. You know, we say we take care of them, but they also get paid while we're taking care of them. Am I right or wrong there?
And they work.
And they work, that's right, they get paid to work. And, if it was like sunny Florida, they get 40 hours a week or whatever, that's about what they're gonna get now, unless a hurricane comes along, I know. But here it's a different story. So, a W-2 is gonna tell.
I need to go back to what Fred said. You gonna stay here, or, you know, you don't, you know, just everything he said there, I think he made a lot of sense.
And some of the ones that we lost are lifelong residents of Lexington again. You just can't win them all.
You're right. It's a toss-up, but 5 or 10 and 12 years, those are not bad odds, not bad ratios at all.
I understand the concept because my whole working career, I did that. I did spend my last 10 years in the workforce at AutoZone Distribution Center. But I always had itchy feet. I'd work somewhere 2 years, and if I got a job that I think that I would like, if it was in Florida, Texas, Pennsylvania, wherever, I would go. And there are a lot of people like that.
We had talked once before about an authority.
Energy authority.
Yes. Yeah. How, energy authority or different ownership? Which is better?
To be honest with you, I'm not very skilled on energy authorities. I know now the state has given you guys the ability to vote in an energy authority without going to them, to legislate. I can research and come up with this and that based on energy authority or a municipally owned system and print it out, email it to you.
From your perspective, and I probably should have prefaced this in some way beforehand instead of asking it here, is a different ownership group, separate, like a JEA or Southwest or something else.
An energy authority, for what I know, wouldn't be controlled by this board. It would have its own board.
That is correct.
It would still pay
The same pilot.
Well, there are two issues here. It will still pay the same pilot, but what happens with the city, the way it's set up now with LES, the city only gets $130,000, $140,000 in pilot payments, and the way the calculation is done by state law, there's an extra left over. When we pay all the counties and cities, there's money left over. The city of Lexington, being the owner of LES, gets that money.
And how much is that, about $60,000?
That's about $800,000. About $800,000.
So that's about $72,000 a month
month.
that we give or take.
When you start talking about authority, think about Beechville Regional Airport, and see what a mess that was.
We wouldn't sell it to a new entity.
That's what an authority is.
We wouldn't sell it to an authority like that. You sell it if it came to that.
I don't want to sell Lexington, our business that much.
Well,
Well,
you know,
we're not
here's
talking
the
about
thing.
selling. We're looking at options.
Yeah.
Well, but that was one of the options you said.
Yeah.
Different ownership. I would never go for that.
Okay. One vote, but that's okay.
The budget's there, right? If you want to go to $543,000 and pay everything up to there, it's no problem for them. And why hold them back from it if they can afford it in their budget, because their budget's not like ours.
Well,
I mean,
most of the department heads have authority to promote, and I don't know about giving raises.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that unless you guys know it.
Another thought, I've been quiet on this, we've talked about this before, but I mean, every department in the last year, we've heard of people leaving and talking about money, every department, and I'm 100% supportive of what Andrew Graves was telling us, and I've talked to a lot of his people about it, and it's real, I mean, it is real. Even though we hadn't had any people actually leave, the that's to me not a good thing, but that's every industry we're looking at. But you know, the salary survey is what we've talked about, you know, for 1 or 2 years now, multiple times. And to me, that's the only way that you can get a good idea. We can dictate what information is used to conduct the salary survey, and that would be for each of the departments. But I know that was talked around quite a bit a year or so ago with this group. I'm not sure if Fred and Jimmy were here then.
Yeah, well, see, now we've got.
Any questions?
Every department of his is, what I'm saying.
Well, this is just for electricity.
Right, right.
Can we afford to give the entire city the same type of increase?
So we can. I know what I had talked about, and what I think the group had talked before, is identifying how much separation in each department, every industry, every job title in the country is not going to get paid the same thing because they think they should. The industry that you work in dictates what people are getting paid. That's just the way it is. So policemen and attorney linemen are not going to necessarily get paid the same thing. If people argue about which ones, that's not the point. The industry outside of us who dictates that pay. But a legitimate salary survey, I mean, I hear this in work the way where I work at. Most of your bigger companies now that are focused they pay somebody who specializes in this that knows all the ins and outs of it. Again, not that we have to listen to it, but to identify the separation of different pays of our city workers, that includes everybody. That to me is a great starting point. And I just think we hadn't done that. I think Mayor had said a while back we hadn't done it, and I mean it's been 10 years plus. I mean that ought to be something we do no matter if we're going to give raises or not every so many years, in my opinion, just to see how much separation there are, and that makes our people feel better too. That we're trying, because to say we don't want to get one says that, to me, it says that we don't care. That we're just gonna deal with it, and
How much,
so we.
Mayor Sandy, y'all been here since 2009. Gordon, when you came on, how many of the salary surveys have you seen?
I don't know, we might have done one, maybe one.
I know we had one in 2006 or 7. I don't know that anything has ever happened because of the salary survey. I mean, Jeff has worked hard on this, I see, and he's even compared salaries, I think. And
you've got about a 9% COLA coming up this year too. Is that figured in that too, or is that plus 9%?
8 points.
COLA, I understand. And this is, I mean, what I'm asking the board, I want to bring up there. And you can deny it, and that's fine, but, you know, that's what I see we need to be doing to keep the employee base where it is and happy and retain.
What I've seen from the people from the elected system that are talking, the best thing to do is keep your mouth shut. Say enough or not enough or whatever. But I know you got some people been there 30 years or older.
I hope not.
Big what?
I hope not. We lost the last one, had 11 years experience, and that hurt. We can't lose too many of those.
Jeff, when you hire one, how long does it take from, with no experience at all, how long does it take from the day? So I think Sandra said, well, I go, so you hire one, you get them there, they decide to go, and you start all over.
Well, typically what we've done, you know, we know who's leaving and when they're leaving. So we try to hire within 3 to 5 years of somebody leaving.
That's retirement though.
So we're building them up and getting them to the point where we can just push the others out and these come in.
In the police department, don't they have to sign a contract for so many years before you send them to school? I thought we'd been told that.
Jeff, let's just say that if this board were to say, you know, journeyman and, can't say a thing about my glasses, lineman, journeyman, whatever, line crew, foreman, and journeyman, if this board were to just say they picked 2 or 3 out of this list and said we would do such and such, would you say it's either all or none, or would you take what you got?
I don't have that choice. It's whatever you guys decide.
Well, you could say, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just asking.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Problem with the, say, 15-year up, or is it the biggest issue is with the 5-year and less employees?
I'd say 0 to 10.
So you really are not even that much concerned with the old hands, for lack of better words. You're concerned,
yeah.
But your biggest issue, long-term issue, is getting
The old hands, I am.
yeah, well, but that makes sense.
What keeps people like me around is pension.
Yes.
You know, we've got a good pension, as does the city. Back when I started, you know, good pension. Now, it's 401k. You get a 401k where you can go
And
to work.
you can take that with you wherever you
Yeah.
go.
And so I think that my pension is better than me going somewhere and starting working and putting money in 401k.
100%.
And I'm pretty sure I'm right. So I'm locked. I'm staying till time to go. But the younger crowd, they're not gonna do that. You gotta have something to make them stay.
So what Ms. Woodden was saying earlier, then, it's the skilled people, and you're saying the entire system versus the skilled laborers, which are the hardest to replace.
Well, and look at it this way, it takes everybody tied on the boat to make the boat go.
Correct.
So there's nobody that's more important than anybody else in my eyes. I mean, if the accountants don't do their job, we don't have money to buy tools with, or trucks, or, you know, everybody has a function that keeps the machine running. And so when you just if that's what y'all want to do, that's fine.
No. Perfect. I would like a suggestion from anybody, is this board, we have to keep the entire city sort of happy. And even though everybody says, well, it doesn't really make a difference that this department makes this and this department makes this, but everybody, if I know it, everybody sitting in here should know it. Everybody knows, and it causes confusion and issues in a departmental. How can we give y'all what y'all want, and then the board maintains integrity with the rest of the departments? That's my biggest thing. It's not the money for y'all, because like I said, you can afford it. Is how do we take care of y'all but still maintain integrity with the rest of the systems? Like, they can do it, but we can't do it for you. That's my biggest issue. Yeah, how do you tell Jimmy no when you told Tim yes?
Well, this is, I know the journeyman lineman got a 29.
That's $1.25, basically. Hours a year, basically 40 hours a week.
You know, and I don't have a dog in y'all's race, but I recognize the problem. I know that problem, and you're right, it is a problem. You have to be considerate of that. But I think you're on the right track when you start talking about a salary survey. Figure out what other departments are behind, and then come up with a way to get them to where they need to be.
Okay, now here's my problem with that. As not as a board member alderman, but as a taxpaying citizen of Lexington, I would have a problem paying higher taxes to give salary increases. Now, if I'm getting something in return, better service, whatever, or whatever, or if this board could explain to me why my taxes are going up to give Jeff Graves more money, I could, okay, if you could make me understand that. But as a citizen, I would have a hard time understanding that based on just giving somebody more money who, whether it's true or not, you know the perception. And now you're saying, well, your rates are gonna go up or your taxes are gonna go up because we gave the electric system money, so now we're gonna have to give the utilities money, we're gonna have to give the fire, we're gonna have to give the police. That's just what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, right now, that's hypothetical.
Yes.
Because you don't have the numbers to back it up. I have the numbers that to back this up.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I'm saying, why not do a survey? You might find out that, you know, you're ahead in some areas, and then that'll justify the thought.
Back to the original question, where does the
But
money come from?
if we find out that the whole city is in the same situation Lexington Electric is in, then, you know, then you wanna raise everybody. We have to take $1.7 million out of our rainy day fund, which I voted against because of something you don't do for this year's budget. And that's just something we can't afford to do. And everything's going up. I mean, whether you're making $100,000 a year or gas is starting to climb again to 90.
It doesn't make any difference to us whatsoever. That is completely different, you know. But you got a board here controlling what you They should be able to go ahead and make whatever rate.
And,
When TVA set the structure for electric utilities
Right.
back in the thirties.
Right.
And that structure has worked for, it's not just us, you know, all electric systems have a pretty good foundation. And that's a byproduct of TVA watching over you back, which is good. I mean, we had a $4 million event in 19 that we paid cash for. Because TVA makes us keep reserves. If they would pay us back, 75% of that,
fine.
but we didn't have to go borrow money and pay interest. And that's the way the business is set up. But as I said, I want to get everybody to have it.
I've been hearing this since 2005, and we're still talking about the same thing. It's just salaries have risen so much. I'll give you for instance, in 2005 as mayor, I was making $35,000 a year. There were 33 people that worked at the electric system, made more money than I did. And I don't know, the mayor's making 85, and I'm sure at the end of the year, with your overtime, I'm sure those guys out there that are doing the dirty work are probably making quite a bit more than the mayor is.
And they work for it.
I understand that.
And they bless their pay.
But there's two different ways to work. One of them office, having visitors and getting a telephone call. I'd rather work for a living than to have the stress that he's got. Because I've been there.
I got it too.
And I know, and you got it too.
Sometimes I handle it okay, sometimes I don't.
So, my one last question. If it's an agreement that it's at the end of the day, it's your prerogative, do you want to do it come budget time, or would you do it earlier?
I would do it now.
I would suggest that you do what you think's right, yeah.
I am, that's why I'm here.
But I mean, that's, whether we agree with it, you probably got more money than the rest of it in reserve.
Yeah, but I can't go against the will of the board.
Well,
Either way, if you're for or against, I can't go against the will of the board.
yeah, I understand. Well,
I'm not gonna do that.
I would love to give everybody a raise, everybody in the city. I wish everybody in the city, we could get them to making equal money, more than I would like to be in the 50 to 75% range of all others compared to others. I just don't think we can make that decision with the money that we have.
We can't make it for us that way.
No, we can't.
They can.
And that's what I'm saying. I think the decision's up to him. And having said that, barring everything else, I make a motion that Jeff, if he wants to give the electric system a raise.
Got a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Jack, state your motion. State what your motion is.
My motion is if Jeff wants to give the electric system employees a raise, he can do so.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I mean, is he gonna change this, whatever he got on, is he gonna go by what this is, or?
Whatever he wants
You just
to.
gonna say, give him whatever he wants?
Yeah, whatever he wants to.
If he can afford it, I'm not gonna make the decision. Because
And I don't think, well, from,
That's.
I don't think I'm doing my
You got a- I
fiduciary
got-
duty. if
Well, I got a
can-
motion and
You
a
still could
second.
discuss.
You can, but we're still gonna call vote.
I
Go ahead.
mean, are we doing our fiduciary duties as a board to let him make that decision? Whether it would be him or chief or Justin or anybody? I just made a comment.
I think every department head
I
should
think
have that prerogative.
It's a vote that we don't want to do. I know that, but, you know,
No matter what we do,
It doesn't-
somebody's gonna be
it's not
dissatisfied
gonna
with
matter
our
anything
decision.
with our budget, you know?
I call for a vote.
All right, call roll, please.
Mr. White,
Yes.
Mr. Wildry. No. Mr. Williams.
No.
Mr. Wood, no. Mr. Ellis.
No.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Rose.
I abstain.
Motion fails.
Can we come back to something?
Motion, or anything? I want to comment before somebody makes another motion. I got elected in '09, and I ain't been in office long, and I got hit with this electric system against the rest of the city. And it's broke my heart, the 14 years that I've been here to have to listen to all this. It's sad. It's really sad because we're all friends. We most of us grew up here, we live here, we love each other, we work for each other. But it's just killed me to hear this over and over and over. And I've begged for a salary survey. I think most employee that works here don't expect to get paid what this pays others. They just want to be paid what they deserve in the field they're in. Policeman to policeman, fire to fire. It's just, they want to be treated fair in their way. It's apples to apples and oranges to oranges. So you've got an electric system here that's problem. And I can't blame him for not wanting to make a decision. And I know you say that we can't afford it, we don't want to raise taxes. Have water. People didn't care what it cost them to get water. You could have give everybody a raise and they never said a word. When their electricity's off, they don't care what they pay, they just want it on. When the police get called, they want the police to come. When the fire comes, they want them to come. If y'all will work together and be unanimous, the people, don't worry about getting reelected. The people in this community will support y'all if you do it as all. But it just kills me that we keep putting this divide with the electric system against the rest of the city. It's just too much. It just breaks it makes me not even be. Because we've got to work together to take care of people. And I still say at budget time, we need to look at doing a salary survey to try to figure out and compensate and pay our people. I mean, they deserve it. They're not asking for more. They just want to be treated fairly. That's what Jeff wants out of his people. That's what the rest of the department is doing. Charter right, vote the case of tie. 3 of you vote one way and 3 another, and 1 of you say they want to. I guarantee y'all vote one way or the other. You don't have to to, but it's sad that and
It's been brought up.
I hate it. I just
Till
hate
something's
it.
changed.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I'm not butthurt, but I'm offended at what you said about voting. Say where you get reelected or not. I have never voted
You know people that have it.
I certainly do.
Yeah.
But
And
I'm
I'm
not
not
one of
accusing
them.
y'all, but you just gotta come in here and vote your conscience.
I gotta vote what's right, what I think's right for the people, and I don't, if you don't wanna elect me, don't vote for me.
Well, I've got a motion here. Go ahead.
Well, looking at this chart, it looks like it's gonna take 10% raise to get it up to where it needs to be on average, is what it's gonna take. That's what he got to do.
You got a COVID coming in,
Oh,
right?
yeah, this ain't got nothing to
I
do.
know, I agree.
Okay, let's forget what we're talking about
I
COLA.
agree.
COLA's gonna take care of everything. But he won't bring his people up to average, okay? If you bring him up to average, he has to have it according to what the, basically, not 200-300.
You'll say. I
Take
know,
6
I
months,
know.
yeah.
And that second.
But, okay, but. I understand. The first salary survey. Richest towns in the state of Tennessee. That's this, yeah. I don't
Well,
think
let's
we
try
ought
this. I got a motion that we give half of the difference to each of these employees here. Even though I had talked about the line crew foreman and the journeyman, you give them half that amount now, and then you relook at it again in 6 months. You give every employee this half of the difference that you said it would take them to get them to the average of the other system. Now, that's my motion.
Are you saying,
I don't understand that.
Do the
He's got
271.
his chart here that he's got a difference.
Your chart.
And then he's got half of the difference. It would get them halfway in between of what the average of the other systems are, right?
yes,
My motion is to give them to vote, my motion.
I understand.
I just said, look at. Well, then.
That's what I base it. There, and then $49 million. All these positions, they give pay. They don't tell names or anything, just gives the pay per position. I'm all for it. Obviously, I want 100%, but in 6 months give the other half, or in 6 months don't give the other half. I just want clarity on that.
So you're saying we couldn't give them the half and then in 6 months readdress it to see if we're gonna give them the other half?
We
don't have
can
to.
talk about it, but this is gonna be, the numbers are
It'll
gonna
be
change.
different, right?
They're gonna be the same numbers that I'm gonna be bringing back in 6 months. I'll do whatever you want.
I'll make a motion that.
I said,
Mr. Williams?
No.
Abstaining during, because of personal reasons.
we got three, so it failed.
I'm not, we can't vote yet, you ain't got time yet.
Was last week, no changes, no nothing, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
9.19, discuss filling vacancies in gas department. Michael?
The position we talked about on the agenda is gonna be for, Tim Blanksham's getting ready to retire. We know it's probably gonna be within the next few months, we don't really have a set date. If he leaves, we'll have somebody ready to step in. We won't make a hire or move anybody until he leaves, but because we don't have a concrete date to start the internal bid, with the employee.
Any discussion? Call roll, please.
Yes.
Okay, 9.20, discuss proof write-offs.
Okay, the write-off, this number of $10,525.45, keep in mind, this is 2 months, we didn't have a board meeting last month, so this is gonna be for 2 months. But I'm asking for permission to be able to turn this over to the collection agency. And if you look, there's a few on here that have deceased. Out of the 66 accounts, 51 of them are rental properties also.
And there is one more deceased.
I thought there was 2, and I wasn't sure.
John.
I think we're talking about the same one. Yes, sir. So I think there's 4 or 5 on there, which would only made about $800 difference, but still.
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Discussion. Call roll, please.
Mr. Williams? Yes. Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yeah.
Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yeah.
Mr. Weldon?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Anything else, Michael?
No, sir, it's it.
All right.
Thank you.
Can I ask you, Mike, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
On, if y'all had many people put in for been having all these pipes frozen, bust.
Come back up, there's a little bit I was gonna tell you about this. Their bills are just now starting to come in. We've already get hit hard. This number, these will be rental properties. Adjustment. So that's going to happen in the next. Because we still found meters. I'm not going against the policy. I wish that once we made the announcement, policy in place where we recoup what we lost. Big hit, most likely this financial year, fiscal year, because of the water that pumped out on the ground, that we bought, chemicals, electricity to pump it, and workers, and our overtime is going to be absolutely sky high. We just be prepared for that. So we, probably the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll start getting those adjustments. Maybe less than that. We're starting to get a few now. The billing was just ready to not quite go out yet during this, so we've still got a couple of, another week probably before we really start. We're fixing to get bombarded with it. Now,
where there was, the mayor brought up earlier that, you know, there was talk that employee error, things like this. I'll say this, the mayor and all the department heads met that Monday or Tuesday before the weather hit on Thursday night. The water department, as well as the gas and the wastewater, we doubled our on-call personnel. Every employee that had a truck carried a truck on. We facility right here. Every water tank was we lost the south tank in about, well, less than 30 minutes. That's 300,000 gallons. We had an issue that hit. We're still looking into it, and it'll be in the report that I present to the mayor, so I'm not pointing anything. That along, when we realized we had lost so much pressure, every employee we had, including myself and that man right there, was out walking our water system, as cold as it was, because we thought we've got to have a detrimental leak somewhere in this system. There was 300,000 gallons of water in less than 30 minutes. So then we just played, we couldn't find one. We walked our entire water system, four-wheel drives, ATVs, side-by-sides, and walked. We didn't find a leak. We found a few small leaks that's always going. We found no leaks on our big main lines. At that point, all we had to do was like, well, maybe just everybody's got their faucets running and they're draining the system, which we've had this happen before and it didn't drain the system. And then later on, a few days later, we find out what the culprit was. But with the combination, like Jeff said, of the perfect storm of everybody letting faucets run, which we asked them to. I did my house. Then we had a ton of private lines that froze and burst, and water ran and maybe still running in some places, we don't know. Everything from industry to school systems to commercial, business, and residential law. We had guys that stayed out for days that did nothing but just drive and find water running and cut meters off. We 7 and 8 and still got the water back on. So my guys did an excellent job. This building and said, hey, what do I need to do? That was gone with their family on Christmas that drove back to Lexington and said, hey, what can we do here? I mean, you can't answer any better than that. Take myself out of the equation. We had salaried people that came in that worked over 100 hours between Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve day. There's no way to tell you the amount of work and sweat and worry that we went through over that week, that 7 days.
We even had retired employees on.
Absolutely, we sure did. We had retired.
We can treat 5 million gallons a day, is that right?
5.2 million gallons a day, and we ran that for about what? 2 days, 3 days solid without that plant ever getting a break.
We only can hold 3,200,000 gallons.
3.2 million gallons in our tanks, and then we have 700,000 gallons clear well. So we can hold, we're required to be able to hold 24 hours of storage.
For the north, and we need one for the south.
There's a possibility of 2 more tanks, which is going to be so.
How much?
I think the one in the north tank was what?
Over 2 million, wasn't it?
The first proposed 1.4, it probably over more than that now.
How many gallons is it?
750,000.
How much is South Tank looking at?
The one we're going to build, anywhere between 200,000 and 300,000, we think should be sufficient.
So that's something we'll be looking at.
Yes, sir, and absolutely.
What about any sensors to let you know that this area right here, the water's going here and here and here and here?
Well, that is something
A
else.
lot of places got that. They
Well,
sit in the house and tell
right.
you where it's leaking.
Right, and those systems, that's part of our SCADA system that we're implementing now. It's very expensive. That's also another one of our projects that we're putting in with this ARPA money, that we're gonna be able to do that. We're gonna have meters that are gonna be able to tell us system-wide, hey, you're dropping pressure right here, you got a ton of water going this way, we can shut it off.
Yeah.
We can turn the meter off, or turn the valve off.
Our main problem was, of course, with South Tank, but we've been trying to spend money to upgrade the system to our residents. Make it without it, but we've got him up, and we've talked about it for years, but we're working on this. I know Justin and I've talked. Real quick. We were very fortunate because this really tested our gas lines. And what a lot of people don't realize, if we'd had a major problem with gas and everything went out, we would have had to send somebody to every single house to get them back on. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, guys.
And just to make sure once the gas came back on, they had no leaks and no open appliances, we would have had to send someone there. And you would have added to your issue of frozen lines, because a lot of people heat with gas.
Yeah.
So that would have also hurt you worse in the water system also.
We were fortunate because we worried about that and didn't tell anybody, but it didn't look good.
We were one of the few gas systems in West Tennessee that did not lose one gas system. Now, we got taxed pretty good, but we never lost one gas system.
And there are some.
There were some big systems that did. I mean, if you watch what Memphis like gas and water, some of those systems went through water and gas and systems here in West Tennessee, but we didn't lose one. We had a couple of weak spots that we were worried about due to projects, and Tim Blankenship and the gas guys knew that was a weak spot, already had the locates in, so we had to come in during an emergency situation, have all the inventory laid out in that shop, where if we had an issue, we knew where it was going to be at, and we had the parts to go in and run a bypass on.
Industry, plants, housing, where we at 1,500, what is our capability we can go to?
We have not reached our capability of how much gas we can have in our system. The only thing that limits us is how much gas we purchase, which we are in very good shape. There is still plenty of gas to purchase. With us being with Tennessee Energy Acquisition Corporation, TAC, which you guys are in the passing of the resolution, that went through today. It went through this afternoon at 4 o'clock. We're going to be saving 31 cents per MMBTU for gas for the next 30 years at least, unless there's other deals that come on that's going to tack on that. So, I mean, we're good in our gas system. We're good in our gas system.
Again, this is why we need to take care of all of our employees and employees, all of them.
All right, now the sewer, well, we down here at the treatment plant, we got to do something on it, right?
We're working on that now. We've got property acquired.
We've got a contract. We didn't get to do a closing because somebody passed away, but that's intact. That's probably gonna be what, 8 to yes, sir.
Ask about when the industry is looking at your sewer. On improving all of our infrastructure. I mean, you guys look at how much sewer line we put in the ground in the last 7 or 8 years. We put miles and miles and miles of brand new main line. Giving us more capacity at the wastewater treatment plant. They're not during rain events. All right, our wastewater plant maxes out. You get the same day than the day before, and you'd had no rain.
we're not getting that much now. We're still getting some, you always will. But with all these new lines we've got in the ground, the down branch, 1 mile branch, all this, you've seen it there, all this we've done has made a huge difference in decreasing the amount of sewer that we're treating, because basically what we're treating is rainwater. And oh yes, and it was a big chunk. I mean, in the last 10 years, I'm gonna say with grants and all that, but with 1 mile branch and the west.
Going south, I know one time we bottled down to 8 inches.
We applied for CDBG, which we were denied, but that is also one of the projects on our ARPA money to go ahead and finish it down, renovate and upgrade the Piney pump station, and then the water tank being built there in that area.
I had a senator call me during all the water being out, and wanted to know why, and I had him call you, and you explained it to him. Well, I called him back, and I told him, I said, look, I said, we got denied a CDBG grant. And I said, we're gonna apply for it again. So next time you call me, let's make sure y'all support us and help us fund that CDBG. We're hoping the county in the future will piggyback with us with their CDBG, because they need to help them out that way too, so.
And that's our customers that are the furthest away from the plant. And that's what I explained. I mean, I went down and met with a lot of them. A lot of them came up here when we were giving the water and filling up the livestock containers and all that for them. You know, they're just, the common sense, you're the furthest away, so you're the last to get pressure, especially when your entire system. I mean, everyone. Just to fill up our main line. The plant has to pump. Work from unless you have fire protection on.
Tell them what.
A lot of work that had to be done at the water. Guys that are working with us. Fighters is out there with us just like our guys. I heard that too. No, the only water come out of the lake came through the line to the intake. No, I heard that also. No, we didn't pump any lake water in until it was treated.
I didn't think so.
No, we didn't change that.
The temperature dropped, 40, 50 degrees in a couple hours?
30-something. And the wind. And that's what I told my guys. We met the day before, and they said, we've seen 0 degree weather. I said, you haven't seen 0 degree weather with 20-mile-an-hour winds.
Now, does that in any way qualify as a FEMA event?
Mm-hmm. It's in the process now. They're meeting on it now. I know the county mayor declared the emergency, and it's going from there. But we've already met. We're working on our costs and stuff now. How much water we lost is going to be hard to dictate. It's going to be astronomical.
Like I said, on the perfect storm, it was Christmas.
It was bad because it's Christmas. Besides not having Christmas, people were out. We served, they came home from Christmas and their ceilings were laying in there. I mean, there's no telling how many miles we put on our truck. We find fresh water running, we cut a meter off. That's as cold as it was. If it was running, it was a busted line. Because it froze as soon as it started running. Yeah, I've never been so cold in my life, and I'm Canadian, so.
Michael, we appreciate it. All right, 9.21, discuss Lexington utility transition. Mr. Ellis.
Well, as everybody knows, Michael's last day is March the 31st.
Yes, sir.
And I think it would be good to go ahead and knock this one thing out and go ahead and appoint Justin as his replacement in waiting, effective April the 1st of 2023.
That's your motion?
Is that a motion?
I'm making that a motion.
His last name's Roach, right?
Justin Roach.
I'll second that.
Okay. You got a motion, second, any discussion? Call roll, please.
Mr. Ellis?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Rhodes?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Wilbur?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Wood? Yes.
Resolution, yes. All right, 9.22, discuss pickleball courts at John B. Ann's Park. Michelle, is that you too?
I've gotten called a couple of times on dates of for that activity here in Lexington and those courts out there now are currently not being utilized to what's best for the community, and it would be little to no, it would be very little cost.
What shape is that concrete in out there? And is it a concrete, do you have some kind of carpet on it? The tennis courts.
Casey?
It's concrete, I don't know exactly what the material is on top.
There is something on top of it, okay.
It may just be paint, I hadn't physically walked down there.
What do they use those courts for, I mean, is there any structure use to it, or is it just random?
Well, we moved the basketball goals over to one. There's 4 goals in one of them, and then the other one is, there's 2 tennis nets.
So basketball, which does get used quite a bit, I drive by and see guys using that a lot. The tennis courts, I mean, not trying to.
Well, there, about 2 o'clock today, when I went by, there was 2 people playing on one side of it.
It's fair to say not near.
We need to be careful, and I'm all for the pick. To be out at the old airport, it got moved to John B. Ann's Park. Now I'm getting complaints in here to play disc golf, and they can't because people's parking on the course. So do we put gates up and keep them out, or do we move it back to the old airport where in the long range plan, something may be there, so space is what we're gonna run into the problem, because we're gonna rob Peter to pay Paul, and, you know, we're gonna take care of this, and then we'll have another group that's gonna be upset. So you start taking the basketball away from some, you'll have some to holler, and the tennis, but, you know, I'm all for, I get lots of calls about pickleball.
Tennis, in my view, tennis and pickleball are very similar use, so I don't think it'll be a big, hard exchange to set it up for because there's two tennis courts
You
on
can
one.
do like one tennis court and one pickleball.
That's what I'm going to do.
Pickleball on one side and the tennis on the
We
other.
can start, and this is the fall, we start with one pickleball court.
Pickleball is in the master plan.
It's in the master plan. The landscape architect that's worked on it has recommended they basically set it up like regulation tennis and then put the additional striping in pickleball. That way, long term, it's good.
Either one.
But the long range plan is on down the road, and that's not addressing the problem. One thing I'm gonna caution you on. We kept adding recurring costs to the budget with no revenue coming in. We even took over $1 million of ARPA money to balance the budget. Jack brought this up a while ago, that he all this stuff, but, and we say we're broke, we can't even give a raise, but how, you know, at some point, this is gonna be a big year for us. And so we need to be thinking that we continuously, and they're great ideas, and they're great asks by people, but you still gotta pay for it. And, so just make that mindful, because this year's budget meetings are gonna be pretty interesting. So just be mindful when you come and ask us to add on, how do we pay for it? And going forward, how do we continue to do the things and make the improvements we make? So that's just a comment, but how much would it cost to put the pickleball on one tennis court? Can you find?
I don't know what it consists of as far as like, if you have to have a, don't they use the wall and the pickleball,
No.
up against the wall or something?
No, it's got a net.
No, it's not.
Just a net?
You know, I said it shouldn't be, just certain is there.
Painting lines.
Ray, would you be okay with just instructing him just to look into it and report
We've
back?
got a striping guy, he's actually coming down, this Friday to do some more striping. I mean, if it's just changing striping and changing the net, I mean, I don't think that would be a.
I think it looks like the same net from what I've
That's
seen.
what I was thinking.
Yeah, it looks
I don't know for sure, but this was.
Just-
I mean,
So 9.23, discuss and approve cemetery bills.
I say due to time, well, before I say that, has everybody had a chance to look them over? It's a lot, it's actually lengthy.
Which one?
The whole, all 11 pages.
The old one and the one,
Well,
the old one and the one we've got with.
the new one that came out today, it took out a few things that really didn't need to be in there after looking it over and talking with people. There's only a couple of things that were taken out that, as far as like, I think one of them was a burial application to either the city or the cemetery manager, i.e. Public Works Director or the designee. Stuff like that was in there that I took out. And all this is, even posted, and say, this is what we're considering, and just let.
If it's something that's a major change, it's a year or
Put some stuff together as a starting point. This is by no means near a finish.
There's a couple of things I'd like to address. I don't wanna, I mean, we're not gonna vote.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Flotsam in the if some
What page are you on?
8.
It's things that I was on, that I didn't really know how to put, and that's why it's highlighted, is to bring it to
And what I'm
people's
saying,
attention.
if you're cremated or embalmed,
As cemetery, I took it out because somebody had brought that to my attention.
That's fine.
About the pet cemetery.
the one where you going,
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, what I'm saying is, if you're cremated, you should be able to be buried with your family, not stuck off in a field over here
Right,
somewhere.
I agree, buried in the same, because you're just gonna dig a hole and put it, maybe.
In the anyone, the what they do is you gotta have it set up that way. You understand what I'm saying? You gotta have it set. Dies, you got it set up this way. The first one that dies is buried deeper. They do that for that reason.
And
So
the
they
vault,
bury deeper, and the
use,
second one.
use the same vault.
Yeah.
You put your vault.
I don't think it's in concrete, I think they just have a steel log.
You ought to go out there and look at it.
So you only have to pay for one plot.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that would be open to.
Well, I don't know about.
You could. It has to be set up before. If somebody wanted me to make arrangements. And put there's the
Actually, I've been to a cemetery.
the funeral cemetery.
Cemetery has all those regulations.
It does. Just need to have it
Those two things
in black and white.
jumped out.
And this is the original.
That is not.
The beautification committee. That we would do that. If the beautification committee had
But of who owns what, who's buried what, why would we want to take on the liability now?
I thought or that it would be closed in 6 months.
Like I said, in front of me, bought a plot. Area there now.
We have given people that have plots over there ample opportunity to go there and mark, and I don't know if anybody's done that.
I thought they're supposed to register with us at the city hall. The ones that's got, they gave them 6 months, I thought, to register the ones that had the plots to come in.
Throughout the nation, because a lot of people stop. Here. To come in. Already purchased.
Somebody lives out of town, that shouldn't keep them from being buried in that cemetery.
Can I ask y'all a question? It's almost.
Yeah, that's why, that's why.
And I've got, and this, right, I promise you, Jack and Fred, we'll.
Everybody came and stated their opinion, and got a little testy, but I mean, that way everybody was here.
But before we do that, can we sort of iron out?
Hopefully the February meeting won't be as lengthy and we'll look to stick it back on there. All right, I'll tell you, one thing, storm. And it'll cost too. Question up here on. That was a start.
I got one. Always again, giving a raise to
All right. Number 10, citizens comment. All right, we are adjourned.